You know what I loved most about Anthony Edwards' performance last night against Indiana? It wasn't just the season high tying 44 points. It wasn't just, one of the most insane game saving blocks I've ever seen, where this dude literally hits his head on the rim, on the backboard. It was more so like the context of it all, where, as we all know, Karl Anthony Towns was announced towards meniscus, and like a couple hours before the game, it was announced that he was going to undergo surgery. And they're talking about how, yeah, he'll probably be back sometime early during the playoffs. But like, even that, like, that's obviously not so encouraging, because that's still like he's missing about a month. And even when he gets back, like, how healthy is he going to be, and what does it do to Minnesota's playoff chances? It's super upsetting news for a team that's been so great all season. And I imagine morale within the team probably wasn't so great. And so I just love the idea, and maybe I'm making this up, right? But I love the idea of Anthony Edwards saying to himself, like, this is a must-win game, not because of anything specific in the standings. Obviously, they're fighting for the number one seed. But, like, this is a must-win game for our morale, because everyone's super bummed about Cat being out. But we got to prove to everyone, and we have to prove to ourselves, that no, we'll be able to hold down the fort until he gets there. And so I love the idea of Edwards. And again, this isn't like anything reported or whatever, but I just like, he definitely has that kind of mentality where he's just like, screw it, like, we got to get this game, like, we need to win this game. I'm going to carry everyone on my back to make sure we get this one game, like, right in the aftermath of that super upsetting news. Like, we're going to win this game because we need to prove that, no, we're going to be okay. And I love Edwards taking it upon himself, because I think that's what every young, when you're a young budding superstar, which Anthony Edwards is, he's obviously the best player on his team. I think you need to go through those moments. I think you need to sort of have these moments of like, of these sort of heroic feats. I think that's part of the lore that every young player goes through. And I think it also helps build you up to get that experience in terms of just carrying everyone on your shoulders, because I do think there are times when the best player on a team needs to do that. The best example I can obviously think of is LeBron James, 2007, against Detroit, where he just goes for, 25 straight, 28 of the last 30. And so I really like the idea of Edwards taking it upon himself to do that at both ends, which was very impressive. He had a couple steals, obviously that one block, like, to do it at both ends is great. And I think it just sets such a great tone for the rest of Minnesota's season. And I think, first of all, it's probably going to be something he's going to have to do more than just this one time to keep Minnesota afloat, especially if they really do want that number one seed. But more so, I also think it's such a nice habit builder, I think, because again, if he's going to be the best player on a championship team, if he's going to be a future superstar, which every indication says that he will, he's going to need to get those reps in terms of, like, winning games that maybe they're not supposed to win, or being a one-man wrecking crew, carrying an entire squad. And so I don't know if he chose to do that. And look, he might come out tonight against Cleveland and shoot 8 for 25, score 15 points and a loss. But it's just, I really like that. Like, there's just something special about, like, in the first game after the sucking news, for him to just come out and be like, no, we're fine, like, we're good. And that's what's, I think, everyone really likes about Anthony Edwards, is he clearly has, like, that personality, that sort of, like, fuck you mentality, which I think is really great. I think it really helps some of the best superstars in the game to feel like you're the best player. And I think getting those reps, as far as like carrying the squad, one-man show, I think is going to be really well, because the Wolves need it, but I also think come playoff time, it's going to be really important, because I think there are going to be times where, the offense isn't working so well, Gobert's struggling, or maybe Towns' shot isn't falling, or like the matchups just dictate, and like at a certain point, it's just going to come down to my best guy versus your best guy, and it's going to be that one-on-one fest. And so, like, Anthony Edwards is going to have to play a bit of hero ball, which he's definitely tried doing. Sometimes it hasn't worked out so well. But, like, moments like these make you think, like, oh, he can actually, like, he's just got to get the reps in. He's got to do it. And so it was really awesome to see, really fun to watch. And I hope he can keep it going. I would love to see, like, an Anthony Edwards explosion as we head into the playoffs, because that would make the Wolves even more dangerous, whether Towns is fully healthy or not.